I'm out at a little fishing spot, not too far from where I live today, but I'm not here to fish, which is different for me. I might make a few casts while I'm out here. I probably can't resist throwing a crick hopper out and seeing if I can catch a bluegill or a bass or something. But the main reason I'm here is to clean up the area a little bit, and I wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm doing that, just to share what's going on. The company that I work for, PRADCO-Fishing, which is the company that has lurenet.com and a lot of the fishing brands that I use a lot, and probably some of your favorites, Rebel Lures and Head and Lures, Bobby Garland crappie baits, Still Floats, the list goes on and on. PRADCO is participating in something called the Million Pound Challenge, and this week during National Fishing and Boating Week, there are companies all across the country, companies and individuals, agencies that are all teaming up to try to pick up 1 million pounds of trash. I don't know where, it's the first year it's ever been done, so I don't know what the tally will end up. Most of the people at my company, which is based in Fort Smith, Arkansas, are together at sites scattered around the Fort Smith area. They're all getting out and doing coordinated cleanups, but remote employees were encouraged to participate today and as well, and I chose this area because it's a popular spot that gets stocked with trout early in the year, and the Forest Service really doesn't have the resources to be out here as much as they would like to, and I figured it's a place where there's probably going to be some bottles and worm containers and all that sort of thing, and so I'm just gonna see what I find and see what I can gather today, and try to make it a little bit nicer spot for the other folks that come out here and fish. And I appreciate the industry getting together, and PRADCO-Fishing for supporting this in such a big way. I'm starting out right by the boat launch. Well, it's the canoe launch. There's no actual ramp at this little lake. It's just you can see the whole lake right here. It's just a small spot. People find little places where they can get around the bank, like where I am right here. Got a bait jar. And then there's also a place where a canoe or a kayak can be slid into the water. So this is kind of a mainstay area right here. So imagine there's a fair amount of little stuff when you start looking. Sure enough, there is all kinds of wrappers and lids and stuff that when you walk up, it doesn't just jump at you, but when you start looking closely, you realize there's a lot of trash scattered around. I'm actually pleasantly surprised to this point, finding less trash scattered around than I thought might be the case. There's certainly plenty that it's helpful to come take care of things, but either there have been some other cleanups at that point, or the folks have been a little more conscientious than I thought might be the case in a kind of heavily used public area. So that's nice to see. Might take back part of what I said about being pleasantly surprised based on this area. We got all kinds of labels and lids and discarded candy packages and everything else right through here. Recreation area also has this cool little spillway area in the creek below it, and there's actually built-in steps that go down from a trail so people can access this area, and there's a trail that parallels the creek. I'll walk down it a little ways. I'm gonna get some of this stuff that's right here below the the spillway on the edge. People probably fish that pool where the water comes in. There's a yum package. That's actually one of the brands that my company makes. I'm glad they're using it. Sorry they left it down here the tags washed out. I'm curious what bait it was, but I guess I'll never know. Based on the hook recommendation on the package that I could still see, it was something in the plastic worm range. I'm guessing it was a small yum dinger, but that really is just a guess. Got a lid and a night crawler container, drinks, more worm pins, a little bit of junk down here. Run back to the car to grab a drink and moved it over here. Got my handy little grabber. Don't really care about too much stuff, but the little potato chip bag was in the middle of a bunch of poison ivy, so didn't seem like the best to be reaching into. I'm gonna get a few of these things that are right off the parking lot with the grabber, and then just put it away again. Switched areas, but just by a little bit. At Lake Russell, which is the same watershed as Nancy Town Lake, and probably only a half mile downstream or something like that. It's actually about a 100-acre lake. Does not have the trout stock element. It is bass and bluegill and crappie to a true warm water fishery. There's a little section of bank access here, and then there's a boat ramp, and then it circles around, and there's a swimming area and campground. I focus on some of this area where people fish from the bank, and get some of it, probably mostly just around the parking pull-offs is where most of the trash is going to be. But see if we can get this area cleaned up a little. I'm gonna wrap up today's picking up effort, and I'm gonna see how much we got. See what we got in pounds. Scale here. 14.1 pounds of trash is what we have. Well, 14 pounds doesn't seem like a lot toward a million, but I guess every bit adds up. There's a lot of little stuff in there. Lots of everything from packaging of food and drinks and fishing lures and everything else, to one diaper, some bottles, just a little bit of everything. But hopefully it made things a little bit nicer for other people who come out here fishing on foot. And I appreciate the American Sportfishing Association for putting on the Million Pound Challenge, and look forward to hearing the results all across the country, and appreciate my employer, PRADCO-Fishing, supporting this great event and having employees come out and clean up waterways today. And I appreciate if you watch the whole video of me picking up trash. I appreciate that too.